welcome back to BTS Heart. What exactly happened between Jungkook and Jimin before BTS took the stage at Chicago's Soldier Field? That question has been quietly haunting fan communities ever since. And to this day, it remains unanswered. Were their personal words spoken so deeply that Jimin couldn't hold back his tears? The question emerges amid an already emotional atmosphere surrounding BTS's scheduled performances in Chicago on August 27th and 28th, 2026, as part of the RM World Tour. But here is what needs to be said clearly from the start. There is no official confirmation proving that Jungkook said a specific phrase to Jimin ... or that Jimin cried because of a particular remark. No verified statement, no confirmed source. And yet, it is precisely that uncertainty that made the moment feel even more compelling to millions of ARMY around the world. Because when there are no answers, the questions become everything. Chicago was always going to be one of the most significant stops on BTS's long North American journey. After a string of concerts in East Rutherford... Foxborough... Baltimore... Arlington, and Toronto, the RM World Tour arrived at one of the most iconic venues in the United States, Soldier Field, 2 nights, August 27th and 28th. And the weight of that setting matters. BTS performed at Soldier Field back in 2019, their return to that same stadium, years later, as part of one of the biggest tour of their career, carried an emotional significance that fans felt long before the first note was played. Time Out Chicago noted the historical connection, and for many ARMY, the Chicago concerts felt less like a regular tour stop and more like a reunion with a city that holds its own place in BTS's story. In that context, it makes complete sense that the members themselves felt something different walking into that building. But did Jungkook really say something to Jimin that made him cry? There is no official evidence that can confirm this, and that distinction matters enormously. When a video or photo shows to BTS members in an emotional atmosphere, fans can certainly offer interpretations, but interpretations do not automatically become facts. Even if Jimin appeared teary in footage circulating online, the public cannot determine the cause without a direct statement from Jimin or a verified official source. Facial expressions can lead to many interpretations. Body language can look like a response to a specific conversation, but could just as easily be connected to the intense atmosphere of pre-concert preparation, travel fatigue... the emotional weight of returning to a meaningful city, or something else entirely that the public simply has no access to. This is where the story needs to be approached with care. Jungkook and Jimin have a long and deeply documented history within BTS. Over the years, fans have witnessed countless interactions between them. Simple jokes, backstage conversations, moments of quiet support when one member was under pressure, moments where the two seemed to understand each other without needing many words at all. Because of that history, when a narrative emerged about Jungkook speaking from the heart to Jimin ahead of the Chicago concert, ARMY's attention was immediately drawn toward one question. Was there something deeper happening behind that emotional expression? And that question, even without a definitive answer, carries enormous emotional weight, because fans have seen so much of BTS's journey together. These are not relationships built in a single night. They grew through years of shared training, rapidly increasing global pressure, tight schedules that left little room for rest, a period of hiatus, individual activities, and then the extraordinary experience of returning to stand on stage together as a group. In that kind of context, a simple sentence can carry a meaning far greater than its words, not because of what was said, but because of who said it, and to whom. There are conversations that were never recorded, jokes that were never heard by anyone outside the room, moments of support offered without a camera anywhere nearby. Simple questions like, "Are you okay?" or "You've got this." Words that might seem insignificant to outsiders... but can mean everything to someone standing on the edge of an emotionally charged moment. That is why when fans encounter stories about an emotional exchange before Chicago, they are not just curious about the specific words, they are curious about the context. What was Jungkook thinking in that moment? Why did Jimin appear emotional? Were they reflecting on the tour? Were they thinking about ARMY? Were they talking about the past? About how far they had come? About everything it took to reach that stage on that night? Or ... Is it possible that the conversation had nothing to do with any of that at all? The last possibility is probably the most honest one. When information is incomplete, imagination fills the space. This is common in any passionate fan community... and especially common within BTS's enormous global fandom. Every expression, every gesture... Every pause of a few seconds can be analyzed in extraordinary depth, until there is a direct statement from Jungkook or Jimin. Speculation remains exactly what it is, speculation, not fact. But titles like Jungkook Finally Honest or Makes Jimin Cry are designed to create emotional urgency in a reader or viewer. That does not mean Jungkook officially admitted to a particular secret. That does not mean Jimin's emotional expression has a confirmed and documented cause. What it does mean is that the open question, the unanswered mystery, has its own kind of power. Chicago will stand as one of the most meaningful stops of the Arirang World Tour. A tour that has taken BTS through dozens of cities across multiple continents. That has reunited them with ARMY after one of the most significant periods of change in their career. And that has created new memories alongside years of existing ones. Perhaps that is where the true meaning of any emotional moment before the Chicago concert actually lives. Not in a specific sentence, not in a confirmed cause and effect, but in the accumulated weight of everything these two people have experienced together over years of sharing the same journey. There are conversations that belong only to two people. There are moments of support that never make it onto a camera. There are emotions that don't require long explanations to carry enormous significance. And if one day Jungkook reveals what he said to Jimin before that Chicago concert, perhaps that is when all the question marks will finally find their answers. But for now, the mystery remains part of their story. And perhaps the most important question to leave with is this: if a simple sentence from Jungkook is truly capable of moving Jimin that deeply, what does that say about the real meaning of the journey they have traveled together? The answer may not be found in one conversation. The answer may be found in the entire story of BTS. And that story is still being written. So what do you think was said before the Chicago concert? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story here on BTS Heart. See you in the next video.